Hello, everyone. We will be getting started with the live Q&A webinar shortly. We're going to wait just a minute or two to help ensure that everyone who has registered gets a chance to join. Then we'll start taking questions. In the meantime, feel free to open up the chat tool on the Zoom toolbar and let us know where you're joining from and what kind of work you oversee. It's always nice to get to know you a bit better during these sessions. My name is Cara, and I am joined by my team member, Ethan. We work on the onboarding team at When I Work, and our goal is to help new users get up and running with When I Work scheduling and attendance tools. Myself and Ethan have both been with When I Work for a long time now, and we have seen accounts for a wide variety of workplaces and industries from all over the world. So no matter what your workplace needs, I am sure our team has seen something similar and that we can help you and your team get set up for success. I am seeing a few more people just joined. Welcome, welcome everyone to the live Q&A demo. We are getting started in just a moment here. All right, it does look like our attendees have evened off, so I want to be sure that we can get started and get to as much as we can during these next 30 minutes. So for everybody who just hopped in the webinar, thanks for joining us, and we are so excited to help you get started with When I Work. For the next 30 minutes, we will be answering your questions about When I Work scheduling and attendance tools. We're going to show you some ways that you can save time while creating the schedule, managing timesheets, communicating with your team. We'll get to as many questions as we can during this time. But if you need any further help after or have any additional questions, you can get in touch with us via chat after the session. Stick around. We're going to provide some more information at the end of the session on how to get in contact with us. So let's get started asking some questions. Since the session is centered around your questions, click that Q&A button on the toolbar to type out your question. Ethan is going to be going through and asking some of those questions out loud so we can demonstrate them in our When I Work account. Also, depending on where we are in the session, he may also rearrange or type out the answers to some questions, but we'll be sure to get to as many as possible during this time. And with that, I am going to switch over to my When I Work web app and give you a quick tour of navigating When I Work. So right now I am logged in as an admin. An admin is the highest level of access that you can have on the account. The user that starts the account is the admin and primary contact. So they have access to everything in the account, whether that's scheduling shifts, managing timesheets, managing employees, and managing those app settings as well. So when you first log into When I Work on the web, you will be directed to your dashboard. The dashboard is a wonderful overview of everything that you have going on in your workplace. So today's schedule, starting from the current hour, showing you the rest of the day of who is scheduled and for how many hours. Your snapshot section, which has the total number of hours scheduled. You can see how many people are currently clocked in, currently on break. If you have any unfilled open shifts. You can also see employees with time off and pending shift requests. And then we have these little links at the bottom that can allow you to jump to those different sections of the product if needed. The next section is the attendance notices. This is going to have all of those notices for when employees clock in or out late or early for a scheduled shift, or if they were a no-show for a scheduled shift. From this section, you can edit the timesheet entry. You can also view the details of that attendance notice so you can stay informed on where your employees are. Next, we have a couple of graphs that break down your assigned shifts or open shifts for a time range by position or by job site if you use job sites to manage locations. We also have the worked labor, again, broken down by position or by job site if you use job sites. And lastly, the pay period forecast. This will show how your employees' worked hours on their timesheets are measuring up to the scheduled hours on the scheduler and showing you any difference in those. Next over, we're seeing the scheduler. This is where you create and publish out those shifts that employees see on their schedule. Our attendance section has some of those clock-in options that we offer if they are enabled on the account. We also have this time tracker section, which shows shifts in progress and shifts that have been completed. And then you can hover over and see how they compare to the shifts on the schedule. Great way to track and see where all your employees are for the day. And then the timesheet section. This is where you'll probably spend the most time when you're using attendance. This is where all of those in and out times for worked hours are reported. You can close out your pay period. We also have export options, so you have all of that data right on hand. Next over is WorkChat. This is our in-app messaging system. When you start WorkChat, you will see this all workplace chat at the very top. This includes every user on your account. And this is great for sending out announcements or letting employees know different things that they need to know all across your entire workplace. WorkChat is also very customizable. You can allow employees to talk one-on-one with each other if you like. You can also create different groups that include groups of employees by positions that they work. A wonderful, flexible tool for keeping all of those communications for the workplace all in one spot. Next over is our request menu. From here, you can add time off requests for yourself or for employees on the account. You can view all of those requests or process any pending request in this time off request section. In the shift request section, you can view or process any shift requests. So any of those shift coverage options that we offer, swaps and drops, you can see in this shift request section. And then lastly, the open shift request section, which is where you will process those shift bidding requests. That is a feature of our open shifts. Next over is the workplace menu. This has the building blocks of your account, as I like to say it. So everything that you need to have set before you start making a schedule, like employees, positions, ways to manage your locations like schedules and job sites, shift templates where you have those pre-made shift templates that you can quickly apply to the scheduler. We also have a reporting section with different types of reports you can run, task lists that you can add so your employees check off the tasks that they need to during their shift, and then document storage for any documents you want to make available to employees. Next over is our gear menu, which has all of the settings, whether that be the general app settings, settings related to the scheduler, settings related to time clock and attendance. We also have an integration section. This is where you will set up any of the payroll integrations that we offer. And then as the admin, I have access to the account and billing section where the plan and billing is managed. Our last little menu over here is my personal profile menu. Here is where you can set your personal details, see your individual schedule, set your personal availability preferences, and manage the notifications that are generated from the account for you. And with that, let's go ahead and get started with some questions.
Perfect. Thanks so much there, Cara. I appreciate you going over the opening there. So our first question is from Libby, and Libby asked, how do I set up a whole month's schedule? Might be a good time to show the different views and possibly the scheduling shortcuts to create a month-long schedule.
Awesome. Great question, Libby. So we do have a few different time range views that you can use depending on how you like to view your schedule and how you like to set up shifts. Right now, I'm in week view. This is my personal favorite view because it has a lot of tools that you can use to create different schedule templates and repeating shifts. But if you prefer to look at the month at a time, you can hop into month view using this menu in the top right. And from there, you can see your entire month and you can schedule out shifts for your entire month. So if you would like to quickly create a month's worth of shifts at once, I have a few scheduling shortcuts that can help you with that. The first of which is our repeating shifts option. As you are creating a shift on the scheduler, you will see these different shift details, and you can choose to repeat that shift. We have the option to repeat a shift every week up to every 6 weeks, and then you can choose an end date for that repeat out to a year. So this is really great if you have maybe a schedule rotation or you would like to set everything up week to week. Great way to quickly create repeating shifts on the schedule. The next shortcut I would like to present is our copy previous week option. So let's say I went ahead and built out my entire schedule as I like it for the week, and not too much changes for me in my workplace week to week. So I want to copy this exact schedule to the next week. To do that, I will head to the next week on my scheduler. From there, you can press the wrench menu and select copy previous week. You'll have a few different options for what you can do if there are any shifts that overlap that you already have set. But since I don't have any assigned shifts on my scheduler right now, I'm just going to choose allow conflicts and copy that on over. And that will apply the shifts from the previous week exactly as you see them onto the scheduler for your next week. And then you can keep doing that for the rest of the weeks of the month. And within a few clicks, your schedule for the month is ready. Another way that you could create the schedule for an entire month would be using our shift templates, our schedule templates option. This is a lot like that copying option that we just saw, except for you can take a snapshot of the shifts that are in your view, and you can apply them to any week. Doesn't have to be the following week. You can do it to any week in the past, in the future. So if I wanted to save this as a schedule template that I can apply to any other week going forward or in the past, I can do that by clicking the wrench menu, selecting Save as New Template. There I can name and add a description for my template, and I can choose to include any repeating shifts if I want. Once that is saved, I can navigate to any week on the scheduler, press the wrench, select Load Template, and then from there I can select the template. So we'll do full schedule standard week to show you how that works. Again, you have the option of what you want to do with any conflicting shifts. We also have this really nice load to open shifts option. This is great if you would like to run auto schedule or if employees are picking up their shifts using our self-scheduling open shifts option. But this all looks good to me, so I'm going to select apply. That will apply those shifts from the template to that current week that I'm on. And then I can publish those out to employees so they can see them on their schedule.
Perfect. Like you guys can see, we've got plenty of shortcuts here to help make scheduling easy and simple for you, as quick as can be. So next question here we've got from Sybil. Sybil asks, can you send a notice for people to work in 5 minutes or 30 minutes? Cara, might be a good time to go over our different notifications that we can send and the preferences that they can set up.
Wonderful. All right. So each user on the account has their own individual alert preferences that can be set. And to set those alert preferences on the web, you can hover over that profile menu and select My Alert Preferences. This is pretty similar to what an employee will see on their end, but since I am the admin on the account, I have a few extra options here that I can set. You can set email or mobile alerts for each of these. And specifically for this question, I would recommend our shift reminders. This will allow you to send yourself either an email or mobile notification the hour set before your shift that you set here. So if you want to have a reminder, maybe let's say 5 hours before your shift, you can definitely enter that. Select whether you would like to get that via email or mobile, and then you can press save at the top of the page to apply that. And we also have another feature that is part of attendance that I want to highlight here. So if I go over to the gear menu and select attendance settings, we have this notification section at the bottom of the page. This is set up by management on the account, and this will notify employees if they miss a scheduled clock in or clock out time. So this can be set as soon as 1 minute after an employee misses their scheduled clock in and clock out. Mobile notification can be sent to them to remind them to clock in or out for their shift. This is a great way to help ensure that employees do not miss any clock in or out times on their timesheets.
Perfect. Awesome. Awesome. So to kind of go along with that, so if an employee does forget to clock in, Calvin asked, how do I adjust their time? Might be a good time to timesheets.
Awesome. Yeah, great question. So if an employee misses a clock in or clock out time, it is super easy as a management level user to adjust those times. So to do this, you are going to hover over the attendance menu and select timesheets. And from there, you will see your pay periods that you have. Select the appropriate pay period in the menu up in this left corner. And then you can choose which timesheet you're looking at from your list of employees. On the employee's timesheet, you can then edit or enter in and out times to make those edits to clocking in and out. It's as simple as adding the times, pressing enter on your keyboard, or clicking away from that cell on the timesheet to save your entry. So let's say on Thursday, an employee forgot to clock out for their shift that started at 8 a.m. As management, I can just come in here, add that out time, and press enter, and that time is automatically saved on the timesheet.
Perfect. Perfect. All right. Next, going right along with this is we've got a question from Miranda asking how the geofencing works and where is that located? Might be a good time to look at maybe some of our clock in and clock out options.
Absolutely. So we have 3 different clocking methods as part of When I Work that you can have employees clock in and out using. To kind of highlight these different clocking in and out methods, I am going to hop over to our attendance settings. Here is where you can enable those clocking options. The first of which is clocking in with the mobile app. This is probably our most popular clocking option because it puts that time clock right in the employee's pocket, makes it really easy for everyone to clock in and out and moderate those clock in and out times. With the mobile app clocking, we do offer location restrictions that can be turned on. You can have those for clock in, clock out, either or both. You can also set how close an employee must be to the scheduled location in order to clock in and out for their shift. So this will help you ensure that employees are only clocking in where they need to be and not from, the parking lot or their bed or anything like that. Our next option for clocking is a personal computer clock in. This means that the employee can log into their profile on a computer and clock in and out right from their attendance menu. So if they were to hover over attendance and select clock in, they could clock in for their shift like that using personal computer. Again, this can be restricted to a certain scheduled location, and you can set the radius for that. All of the personal computer clocking is based on an IP address that can be assigned to the schedule. So I'll show you where you can find that if you're setting up those personal computer clock-ins. So you'll hover over the workplace menu, you'll select schedules. I'm going to say okay, and there we go. And from there, you can enter the IP address that you would like employees to clock in and out from on their computer. If you're currently at the location and you're not quite sure of your IP address, just use this I'm at this location button and it will automatically fill in that IP address for you. All right, our last option for clocking in and out is our time clock terminal. Time clock terminal is most like a traditional time clock in that it is set up in a central location for all employees to clock in and out on. You can set up a time clock terminal on a computer. You can also set up a time clock terminal on an iOS or Android device. We have dedicated time clock terminal apps in both the App Store and the Google Play Store that you can download to get started with that. On the time clock terminal, when it is set up and locked by a management level user, employees will see a screen that looks like this. From there, they can enter their email address in their profile or the employee ID that is set for them in the advanced details section of their profile to clock in and out.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Cara. As you guys can see, we got plenty of clock in and clock out options, making sure your team is where they need to be before they clock in, just all kinds of cool things to help you out there. Next question that we do have here is about our accountability. Our availability. So how does an employee set up when they're available to work?
Great question. So our availability feature is the feature that allows employees to set when they prefer to work or when they're unavailable to work. So you can help guide your scheduling around when your employees are able to work. So to set this up for an employee, you will hop over to the employees page and you can press this circled check mark in the actions column that corresponds with their name. This will take you right to that employee's availability calendar. If you are an employee logged in on a computer, you will see something similar to this where you hover over this profile menu and select My Availability. Availability can also be entered by employees when they're using the When I Work mobile apps as well. So it's very flexible in that way. So from the availability calendar, you can set availability for any future date. So there's only one day left in March here. So I am going to actually, I need to hop to April. There we go, to add a preference. So from here, I can set whether I am unavailable to work or whether I prefer to work. We do have an all-day option, or you can set specific times for that preference. We also have repeating options where you can repeat this preference every day, every week, every 2 weeks, and select what days to repeat the preference on. Once availability is set by employees, you can see all of that information right on your scheduler to help guide your assigning of shifts. So if an employee sets up an unavailable preference all day, you will see this block on the scheduler of unavailable. If an employee sets up an unavailable preference that is only part of the day, certain hours, you will see this gray flag in the top corner of their scheduling cell. You can hover over that to see what times they have set as unavailable. And then as you are scheduling shifts, those unavailable preferences will be highlighted in the top, and any shifts that you have, any shift templates that conflict with that unavailable preference will be grayed out in the background. So it really helps guide you to those shifts that the employee prefers to work. Of course, these availability preferences are just a preference, and you can always still schedule a user during their unavailable times as needed. If the employee needs guaranteed unavailable time off that day, you will want to have them submit a time off request instead. As for those available preferences, those can be seen in the top corner, flagged with green. You can hover over that and see what shifts they prefer to work. As you are scheduling, the highly preferred shifts within their availability will display first.
Perfect. We make it really easy for your employees to be responsible for their own availability and things like that to keep you notified of when they can and cannot work. Another question we've got here from Nikki is, can the system control and track overtime? Might be a good time to talk about some of our overtime settings that we can implement.
Absolutely. So the first overtime setting that I would like to show is over in our general settings under the gear icon. In this overtime section, you can decide what types of overtime you would like to offer and calculate. So we have a weekly overtime, a daily overtime, and a double daily. For this account, I have it set up to do weekly after 40 hours and daily after 8. And on the scheduler, as you are scheduling, you can hover over the employee's scheduled hours right here underneath their name, and you can see that any overtime that has been accumulated. And as you are scheduling, you will also see any overtime that would be accumulated if you were to apply that shift. We also have max hours, which can help you track the maximum amount of hours you want a certain employee to work during the week. So to set this up by employee, head to the workplace menu, select employees. From there, you can hop into the hourly rate section there, and you can set up the max hours per week for this employee. So Allison, she can work 30 max hours per week. And when you head to the scheduler, you will see that Allison here has that 30 right behind her name. So you can compare the assigned hours so far in the scheduler to the max hours in her profile. And then as I am scheduling shifts for Allison, you will see once she hits that 30 hours per week, you will see this little icon that shows you she has matched her max hours.
Perfect. So we make it really easy again, just to kind of help out with your overtime, keeping an eye on that stuff so you don't go over. Next question here is, can other people have admin access to my account?
Absolutely. We have a few different levels of access that can help control what users can see and do within When I Work. To help illustrate this, I am going to hop over to the employees page where you can set this up for each user. So in the employee profile, as you are adding those details for employees, you have this role menu right here, and this will help decide the access level for this user. I explained briefly before, admin level access allows access to absolutely everything on the account. This is the highest level user, and they have access to the account and billing page where the plan can be managed. There can be up to 3 admin users on the account to help manage the plan and billing. The next level down is a manager. Managers have access to everything that the admin level users do, except they do not have access to the account and billing page where the plan is managed. Supervisor is the next level down from that. Supervisors are able to manage the schedules, timesheets, and employees for the schedules that are tagged in their profile. So if Allison here was a supervisor, she would only be able to manage the employees that are also assigned to the Shifty's Coffee and Bakery schedule. So this is really great if you have multiple schedules on the account and you would like a different supervisor to only manage the employees that are part of their schedule. And then lastly, kind of our base level user that all users start out as is employee. The employee view lets you view your schedule, view your timesheets, add time off requests, and use all those shift coverage options. And if you have any questions about, all the different access for each of those levels, I would recommend checking out our Help Center article about this. This article has a map of every different access privilege broken down by each of the access levels so you can see what privileges each access has. So you can press need help right over here, and up here you can press enter access levels or access, and you will find that Help Center article that goes through all of the different access levels.
Perfect. All right. So it looks like we may have one last question here that we'll be able to answer. We've got a question about our tasks. So how does When I Work help with our task management and checklists to get done each day?
Awesome. I love going over task lists. This is one of the features that was developed based on our feedback from our customers. We love making changes to the app based on customer feedback so we can make When I Work even better for you. So to set up different task lists for your employees to complete, hover over your workplace icon and select task lists. We have two different types of lists that you can create. The first is team tasks. So team tasks are lists that have tasks on them that anybody working that day can complete. Shift tasks, on the other hand, are assigned to individual shifts on the scheduler, and only the employee who is assigned that shift can complete those tasks. Let me show you what that looks like on the scheduler here. So for my team tasks, I have the daily cleaning team task assigned to Friday here. So any of my scheduled users, whether that be Rosario, Allison, Keith, so on, can check off the different tasks on this list. Once they are checked off, you can see when it was checked off and by who. You also have this tracking for what percentage complete that particular list is. As for shift tasks, when you would like to set up an individual shift, an individual employee to have a task list, you can pop into the details of the shift, and from the shift task list menu, select which task list you would like them to complete. So let's say we want them to complete the bathroom cleaning, and we'll save that shift. And then as an administrator, as I am managing and monitoring tasks throughout the day, I can click this clipboard at the top of the date, pop into shift tasks, and I see that Keith is assigned a task list during his 1 to 6 shift as team lead. I can click in, see the percentage complete that it is, and then also see those individual tasks as they are checked off. So we have many ways that you can have employees take accountability for the duties that they are performing during their shift.
All right, awesome. And that seems to wrap up on the questions. Cara, if you want to kick it off to the next section here, where I think we're good to go.
Wonderful. I am just going to go over some additional info about the plans that we offer. So I am going to head back to our slideshow here and jump right in. So we have 3 different plans to choose from based on the needs and size of your workplace. The first of these plans is the Essentials plan. So this is the right plan for you if you have under 200 users and you need our core scheduling and attendance tools. The Essentials plan includes all of the scheduling tools that we talked about today. So creating shifts for your team, creating those repeating shifts, access to task lists, availability, things like auto scheduling and work chat. The Essentials plan also includes integrated attendance tools for clocking in and out. So all of those clocking methods that we went over today, along with the location restrictions that can be set, are included in this plan. And then any of our integrations to payroll processors are also included. If you have more than 200 users, you will be on our advanced or complete plan. The advanced and complete plans are the best plans for larger businesses because they have a few extra scheduling tools that are designed for large workplaces. Things like access to our API key, global privacy, labor sharing, single sign-on, custom reporting, all of those are included. The advanced plan does not include any of those integrated attendance tools, but the complete plan includes both those advanced scheduling and attendance tools. Of course, if you need those extra tools on the advanced or complete plan, you can definitely choose these plans upon checkout. No matter what user count you have, you do not necessarily have to have 200 users to use these plans. So if you would like to mock up pricing for a plan, you can do so by logging into your account on the web. You hover over that gear icon, select account and billing. Then you're going to select change plan. And from there, you will see all of our plan selections that you can select from. On that screen that comes up, once you select a plan, you can set the number of user seats that you would like to make available, and you can press purchase when you are ready to transition to that plan. By default, we offer a monthly billing cycle, but on this checkout screen, you can also select annual billing. This will allow you to pay for a year up front, and there is a 5% discount for that annual billing cycle. So this is a great way to save a bit if you are looking to use When I Work long-term. So if you have any questions about those plans, what's the best fit for you, or any of the features that we provide with When I Work, do not hesitate to reach out to us on chat or via email. You can access chat with us by logging into your account and pressing this chat icon in the bottom corner. Or if you prefer, you can always send us an email to gettingstarted@wheniwork.com. We also have this wonderful need help section on the sidebar of your account. There you can access things like our help center, access to our training videos, a lot of great stuff right within that sidebar of your account. So as we wrap up here, Ethan is going to send a list of resources in the chat section that we used earlier. Feel free to copy and paste those into a Word doc or a Notes app to save it for later. This list has more information on getting started, plans and pricing, and training resources. So I just want to wrap up this session by saying thank you so much for joining us today and for all of your wonderful questions. Again, do not hesitate to reach out to us if you need anything at all. Our team is here to help. I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of their Thursday.